Hi, how's it going? Today I'm gonna study and practice a bass line of a choro. If you don't know this style and you are interested in Brazilian music, the choro is one of the bases of Brazilian music, and the bass part of choro is very interesting. I'm gonna show just a little bit of the melody just so you know, and I'm gonna start to comp and show the different possibilities of bass line in this choro. I've chosen the choro called Cochichando. That's more or less this melody. I didn't practice for so many times this melody, but let's try. So we have this chromatic turnaround. So I'm gonna start to comp over this chord change, and I'm gonna show some different details, different resources we can apply on the left hand, because the bass line is one of the richest part of the choro. Let's start. So we have this comp. These are the chords. This was my first reading. very bad, but during the next place you're gonna see my capability of doing lines improving and playing these chords. All right, let's start. explored some possibilities, and let's talk a little about them. When in choro you are stopped in just one chord, you can change the notes of the chord. For example, you can change the bass. I'm in D minor. I'm gonna have two measures of A7. So I can explore the different bass in A. Let me play a little more. So besides playing just the A7, I played A7 with the E on bass, with G on bass, and A on bass. What else more? So in this situation, I'll explore the notes of the chords and also the flat 9 that's common on minor choros. So D minor with the 5th on bass. Let's see one more example. I explored the syncopation. So this is one other possibility. Let's continue. This is a very well-known cliché in different styles you can hear. In tangos and other styles that were influenced by habanera. So it's very common they use in choro also, that has the same influence. Let's continue. There is this this it's very interesting to explore this possibility to connect the chords between notes using the dotted 8th note with the also 16th note, for example. So you study all the chord changes using this approximation. And to do this, it's better if you use a note of the chord you are to get in the next. And sometimes you can use chromatic notes also. And so this creates some interesting connection that already gives a sensation of melody on the bass line, for example. Also, you can increase the number of notes that will connect the chords. Let's do with 2 notes. tried to apply in all the chords, and I've done in some songs. Didn't apply on all the songs, but applying, if you study this, I'm sorry, and you can change the note of the chord. When you practice just in one song, your head is gonna create the capability of joining in other chords. I'm committing some mistakes because I'm exaggerating. I'm trying all of them, and so you can practice also in the contrary motion. Some of these movements in dominant chords will not sound very good because I'm starting from the ninth of them. So there are some situations that doesn't sound very good. But this is a way to develop your capability of executing some sound you search. Sometimes you know that it's gonna sound good, and you have the technical ability to execute, to think inside that chord and then execute it. Alright? What else more? Let me improvise freely, and I'm gonna show. That is one cliche that I like also. So this cliche is very interesting because you have one note that you want to stop, and if you want to go just one step below, you jump a third and return the scale. So if you want to go 2 steps below, you just go 1 second up, and so you can return more. So let me apply a little bit of this in this case. So we're gonna have a lot of chords here, and it's be difficult to do. I don't use in this situation. This is difficult, but you can apply in more spaced situations. Let me show how it sounds. I'm found new situations where I can apply. There is also one thing very interesting, that is the combination that the 7-string guitar does with the 6-string guitar, making some tenths. And when they are playing choro, they do this in arranging. The choro has some parts that has some counter melodies that make part of the composition. And here in Brazil we call obrigações. It's like obligations, that are parts that always you have some freedom in the execution of choro, but in these parts no, we are gonna play because it's part of an important part that composer have done to the song. So we can imitate these obligations during some phrases with tenths. For example, so these are the tenths that we can explore, or notes of the arpeggio, playing together. Arpeggios starting in different points between the left hands, you can construct a lot of interesting lines. Alright, what else more? I'm gonna improvise a little bit more to find more ideas. Create some counter emotion between some strong phrases. For example, let me try do all some unisons together in the bass line also. Phrase. And that is another situation. For those who doesn't know a little about choro, a very important thing to say, it's sorry, a very interesting thing about choro was about how these bass lines were developed. When Pixinguinha, the composer of this choro and a lot of important compositions, got a little older, he had problems to play his flute, and he started to play the saxophone together with his friend and partner Benedito Lacerda. Benedito was partner of Pixinguinha in compositions of choro, and Pixinguinha started to create some bass lines in the tenor saxophone, creating some counterpoint between the melody, original melody, and his saxophone. And some years later, there was one guitar player that started to play these lines in his guitar, his 7-string guitar, called Gino Sete Cordas, Gino 7 strings, and he adapted it to this, to the 7-string guitar, and he created a school. It's school, and not a real school, but a school in the way that people start to play after that. And I'm to study more of this language of the 7-string guitar or of the bass lines of choro. I recommend you to read some books of 7-string guitar, and there is one book that that's very interesting, that was written by Mario Sevi. It's Choro Duos, where Mario Sevi and David Gang started to transcribe some lines of Pixinguinha. So you can find in the bass clef some lines, for example, he developed a lot of lines in choro, and they transcribe them, so you can also study them to get more language. Let me play on the right hand. Let me try if it's written on the bass clave. That there are a lot of interesting anticipations that I don't know if they would sound good in the bass. Let me try some anticipations. Use so many anticipations because I didn't sing so much in this using the 7-string guitar, but this can be much more interesting for a bass line. Let me apply a little more. And I wasn't exploring them, and so this is a reference to me that sometimes I give a little read, sometimes I try to study both hands together. I didn't see studying this in this same thing. You notice that I've made my first reading in this theme, but for today, I think that's it. I hope this live make you more aware of this capability of doing interesting things on bass lines of choro. I have the intention also to do a live showing how I study a melody and put this left hand resources in piano solo choros. And if you want to know more about this and other subjects related to Brazilian music, I invite you to follow me in this channel, Brazilian Accent Improvisation, where I talk about the different aspects of Brazilian music relating to how to play in an authentic way and how to improvise with language and sounding inside our Brazilian musical world. Alright, so thanks for watching and see you every day here for lives and quick tips. And bye bye, ciao ciao.